Hello. So, everyone's always saying my videos are good and it helps them, so I have to make more videos. I try my best to come up with something interesting and worthwhile for you to watch, though. So, this morning I'm going to go to the dentist to get my teeth cleaned. I can remember part of where my anxiety started was even a little bit before I got COVID. I went in for a tooth that was broken, and they told me that they were going to have to do something pretty major, and they took my blood pressure, and my blood pressure was high. And they said, we can't work on your tooth. You have to go home. So then I was really freaked out, and I thought maybe I have something wrong with my blood pressure. As it turns out, my blood pressure is fine. I mean, I exercise, I dance, but what wasn't fine was my chemistry in my body. And your thoughts are so powerful. You know, when you, and in my case, when I was anticipating what that dentist might do inside my mouth with that drill, or extracting a teeth, or trying to get in there with a root. I don't remember what it was. And him describing how it was breaking in half and it was a complicated thing to do. I freaked out. And my blood pressure was elevated to a, well, my heart could take it, no problem, but they didn't want to do any dental, surgery on me while I was like that. So it's interesting because I'm very healthy, fortunately. But even when you're healthy, you can get very freaked out, and your chemistry can change. Now, so why do I describe all this? Is because when you have tinnitus, you can be very healthy and you don't even know it. You're awesome. You're doing great. Maybe you do have a couple little problems. Who doesn't? Depending on your age. But you're fine right now. You were fine yesterday. You were doing good the day before. But maybe it was just you were worried too much, and you get in this habit of worrying. And yeah, that can make your blood pressure higher, at least temporarily. I guess if you get in the habit of being anxious, in the habit of worrying and being really tense, that could lead to longer term problems. So it's important to address that now. And there's really no more important thought than the thought that puts you at a place that's not worrying. So the psychology of it is tricky, especially if you're deep into this problem. The psychology of it is, don't worry, but wait a second, I can't stop worrying. So then don't do it. So what's the word? Okay, we're going to meditate. I want you to close your eyes and don't think about pink elephants for 1 minute. Go. Right? And you can't do it. So the psychology of it is, when it's right in front of you, then you can't stop thinking about it. So, and if you try to not think about it, maybe you think about it even more. And such was the case with my dental surgery and my high blood pressure. I was trying to be calm, but oh my God, he's about to invade my mouth, and and then they told me I had high blood pressure. Well, that made made me even more anxious. So not doing something, not thinking about tinnitus, not being anxious, that doesn't quite work. So this is where you do have to put the work in and develop some talents of your own. I've talked quite a bit about, I started learning how to draw. I don't draw now, but I sure did when I was anxious. I played solitaire, but and that was, I was just really losing it back then. But I was doing anything to get my mind on something else. So I've come so far. I'm going to the dentist today. It's just a cleaning, but I actually did have some work done, earlier this year, and it was nothing. I had no problem at all. I wasn't worried. I knew that I was in good hands, a great dentist, you know. But you've got to start developing your strategy to get your mind on things that are interesting to you. And they're so interesting, so interesting, that you just don't have the time. It's not valuable to you to sit there and worry about your tinnitus or be anxious. You want to cook something, and you're going to get a recipe, and you're going to get the ingredients, and having cooked something and it turned out pretty good, you want to cook something else, and you get so into cooking and the art of cooking, and maybe you buy some utensils that'll help you cook, or some special foods, and it becomes so deeply embedded into your consciousness that you are thinking about cooking all the time. It can be anything like that, whether it be basketball or dancing, or I don't know, making your house as clean as possible. You know what? I'm going to do everything to make my house super clean. I just made that up, but you know what I'm saying? Like, anything that you can do where you really get involved in that task, and then if you can develop the skill of doing that, then you can do it with another task and another task. And you will be so involved in those other tasks that you start forgetting about how this tinnitus has been affecting your life and how you're so anxious, because the other stuff's just more interesting now. So how can you do that? For me personally, it's kind of not too many people chose this path, but I learned Chinese, and I can write Chinese, and there's about in the current dictionary, there's about 8,000 characters that I could be practicing right now, writing these characters and remembering them. And to me, that's just a much higher priority than thinking about this sound in my ear. So you gotta find something, find a few things, and just really commit. You write it down, what you're gonna do. Put notes all over the place about what you're gonna be thinking about today. Set reminders on your phone to think about that. Anything you can do to really get your mind focused on a new thing that's interesting, and then you go do that thing, and you do it, and if you practice or you do it over and over again, you're going to get better at it. Excuse me. And then it'll get even more interesting. So, okay, so go to it. That's my video for today.